I don't like video games based on cats. Sorry, Bogart. Well, hello there, real gamers. Retro Rob here, and welcome to Retro Rob Plays Everything. Today I'm going to talk about my 5 unpopular gaming opinions. I got more of them. I'm a weirdo, to be honest. And I've got some really weird conditional stuff that is just silly. It's silly, and I know it's silly. But, you know, opinions are like that. They don't have to be based in reality or based in anything. But actually, several of mine are. Well, a couple of mine are. And I kind of wish some of them would be adopted. But anyway, let's get going with my 5 unpopular gaming opinions. Number 5, I utterly reject the idea that an adventure game needs to be 80 plus hours in order to be worth my time. The obvious thing to say is, you know, hey, I got a life. Everybody has a life. All right, almost everybody has a life. Well, they're breathing, so they have a life. It's not really that. I think that the problem is that it causes a whole lot of grinding that isn't necessarily needed, walls of text or conversation that aren't necessary to the storyline, and just a lowering of the overall quality. I'll give you an example. I recently played Tales of Arise, and I love that game, by the way. I highly recommend it, but probably the last 5 hours of it were spent in hallways just walking around, and they were all pretty much the same. The whole game was absolutely beautiful. It had a point where I really thought I was at the end, but then it wasn't the end. It just kept going, and after that point I felt like I was just grinding on and on and on into unnecessary just meh. Still, the game's worth playing, but I think that happens way too long. Just way too much grinding caused by this insane gate-kept number of 80 hours for an adventure game. Number 4, I do not mind DLC in moderation if it doesn't change the gameplay or if there's enough content for what you paid for the game. This is obviously a highly subjective standard. But I can give you an example of what I mean. In Call of Duty Mobile, where you pay for nothing, I don't have a problem paying $5 or $10 for a new outfit. In any other Call of Duty where you paid $60 or $70 for the game, I have a problem with it when you charge $30 for a skin. That's ridiculous. Also, it shouldn't change the gameplay. In other words, weapons that make it way easier to kill somebody with no work whatsoever are, to me, off limits. Again, personal opinion, but it should never be pay to win. Number 3, I do not like playing any game that chooses a character established in other media. So let me give you an example. Any game like Spider-Man, I won't play because it already exists in another universe. Yeah, I do make an occasional exception. I do kind of like the Mad Max game, but it's probably only because I watched the original Mad Max series a bunch of times, and I don't really recognize this Mad Max as the one I grew up with. I hold this opinion because I'm freaking crazy. Number 2, calling cheaters hackers. This one absolutely drives me bat crap. Hackers have a definable skill set. It comes from the idea of being able to modify one thing and turn it into another. It comes from the idea of having definable skills. What gamers call hackers are, even at best, what we call script kiddies. People that don't invent their own hacks. People that run something that somebody else built to give them an advantage. To be honest, I wouldn't even give them the honor of calling them script kiddies. Most of them couldn't even script their way out of a paper bag. Most of them just buy the product from hackers and they cheat. They're cheaters. Let's call them cheaters. And my final one is one I make fun of all the time, and it is about gatekeeping. The idea that some gamers are real gamers and others are not. That's just freaking silly. I don't care what you're playing. If you're playing Candy Crush, that you're playing. Honestly, I don't care what game it is. It can be Hello Kitty. You are a real gamer because you're playing a game. This whole thing about mobile games versus PC games or console games is ridiculous. Most of the time, it's running the same code. Is a game a real game when you're running it on your console versus when you're running the exact same freaking game on an iPad? It's stupid. The interface doesn't make it a game. The fact that you're playing a game makes it a game. Cut it out. Quit being children. And that wraps it up for my unpopular gaming opinions. I actually have a few more, which are also pretty equally psycho. I would take them with the grain of salt that I take them with. I absolutely know that opinions are, just opinions. Except for the last two, to be honest. The last two are seriously held opinions that annoy me, but the other ones can be taken with a grain of salt. Anyway, I want to thank you very much for watching this. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe for more. Ring that bell, and I'll see you in a couple days. Bye.